Let's see if this time, sorry about that. I'm working on a very improvised setup. I was talking for about 5 minutes to realize that that the mic wasn't set it up. Great. Seems that everything is working right now. Let's see. Hello everyone. So today I wanted to do something different now that I'm streaming on a weekday, because usually my streams are on weekends. And of course, everybody's waiting for me to start streaming to write to my phone. Let me turn this off. All right. So let's see. What I wanted to do today is let's go over Asuka, because I've been working on an Asuka's video that it seemed like endless. I cannot find a way to finish it. And there's a lot of things that I'm editing and leaving out. So how about we go over some of the things that we know that that weren't done with Asuka, starting with the second movie. Let's see. Jimmy's here. Hello, Jimmy. Son Gogeta, welcome to the stream. Cohen. Let me see. Yeah, it seems that we are doing fine. Okay, so let's begin with the stream, because it's gonna be. I'm gonna try to speed it up a bit, because I've been putting this together and I think that I might be overboard. So how about we start with Asuka, first introduction in the second movie. It was fighting Sahakiel, right? She came from the sky. She was getting into Japan, and she was using the SS equipment, which is this jetpack right here, right? To fight the clock-like angel, which is the weakest one, in my opinion. She takes it out in 1.5 minutes exactly, because I took the time. So this is the core that is located in the biggest sphere. She destroyed the first core first. There is the decoy in the neck, and with this she destroys the angel. It's a very weak angel. So she's introduced as Captain Shikinami Asuka. Okay, introducing the ace of the European Air Force. So Misato is well known. She's very well aware of who Asuka is at this point of the story. We know from, I'm going to try to avoid talking about Neon Genesis Evangelion, but we know that in the original story, she knows Asuka because she asked Misato when she finished her school in Japan. She went and enrolled to NERV in Germany, and that's where she met Asuka in the original story. Before she getting back to Japan, that she got back to Japan about the same time that Shinji got to Tokyo 3. That's why in the original story it seems that both of them are moving in at the same time. And that's also a reason why Misato is lost the first time she gets into in episode 1. She's lost because she doesn't know the facilities very well. So I'm guessing that it's about the same thing in Rebuild. Jimmy says, hey, now it's a bit about Asuka, spoilers alert, not best girl. Okay, so you hear me. Good. So this is basically a test stream. I'm testing this time also. I don't know, I have audience at this time around. Usually people likes me when I stream on the weekends. But I don't have time this weekend, and I wanted to stream because I haven't streamed in 3 weeks or 4. So, moving forward. Misato calls Asuka Captain Shikinami Asuka. Okay? Then, this is the face that Asuka puts with Shinji, because Asuka, when she reached into Japan, she underestimates both of the other pilots, right? She believes that both Shinji and Rei were appointed as pilots because of Gendo Ikari, which is true. While we know that she actually had to work, and we know that because of 3+1 and all the Shikinami series that we're going to talk about later. So of course she underestimates everyone else because she believes that no one has worked as hard as she has, and she sees Shinji and Rei like they were connected by Gendo Ikari. So she moves into Misato's apartment, and the whole reasoning behind it is because they need to improve their communication skills. That's the reasoning of them being together in Misato's apartment. In the original story, they moved in together because they needed to sync to fight Israfel, right? The twin angel. And that was a very important episode for Asuka and Shinji relationship, right? Episode 8, episode 9, and episode 10 are Asuka and Shinji episodes. In Rebuild, episode 8 doesn't exist, which is the episode that Asuka is introduced. And this time around, Asuka fights the angel by herself. In episode 8, Asuka needed, she brought Shinji into the entry block to fight Sahakiel in the sea, right? So that was retcon. And episode 9 also was retcon, because episode 9 now the motivation was to them sync together, right? Because it was Asuka the problem. She was very skilled, but she was over her head, and she needed to lose against Shinji and against Rei in order for her to actually sync effectively with Shinji. That's the whole thing in episode 9. And here in Rebuild, it's just because they need to improve their communication skills. That's it. Now this right here is the first time that Shinji sees Asuka naked, right? And the reactions are very different from what we are going to see in 3+1. Here, Shinji feels ashamed of Asuka's being naked. Asuka does too. Okay? So let's keep all this in mind later on. Then, of course, we see her relationship with dolls that has improved. That's another thing that has changed from the original story. She hated dolls because her mother replaced her with a doll, right? That was retcon as well, and now Asuka has this relationship with dolls, right? She's more welcome to them. But she's always, up to this point of the story, she's always like, you can rely on yourself. She's all by herself, right? She doesn't trust anyone. She believes that it's her against the world. This is very early on in the second movie. We're going to spend a little bit of time in the second movie because that's the movie in which she gets more screen time. Okay? So then we see that this happens in the same sequence. Because I know that some part of the fandom, they consider the SDAT to be the overlord of the story. So the SDAT is the one that's telling the story, basically. That's not true, by the way. That's sarcasm. But the SDAT, it gives some clues on what is going on. Okay? So this happens in the same sequence. Asuka is talking to her doll. This is the first night, one of the first nights. This is not the same night that they sleep together. That comes after. And Shinji is hearing track 26. Now, this is important to point out because when we see it on this context, 26 doesn't mean original episode 26. It means the end of Evangelion, episode 26. Okay? We are still with Asuka here. There's no disruption to the story. Like Mario, later on that we move to episode 27, right? But it also says 1 hour and 16 minutes. This is the exact time in the movie in which Asuka gets destroyed by Unit 1. I think it's this. 1 hour 16 minutes is when Unit 1 eats or bites the entry block. So the SDAT, our overlord, is telling us that at 1 hour 16 minutes into the movie, something is going to happen with Asuka. Is that a doll of a puppet? I really don't know. A puppet has like I'm not an expert on puppets, but it might. Yeah, I think you can say it's a puppet. I've always seen puppets, the one with how do you call it, cords. But that's true. You can also put the hand inside puppets, and you can say it's a puppet. Yeah. Yeah, you can say that, I guess. Doll and puppets. Then we see Asuka for the first time with this little toy in this sequence and in her first school days, with all these guys after her. She's gonna keep this toy all the way to the end of 3+1, right? Now there are some arguments that say that Asuka looks for escape in this PSP or I don't know what it could be, Game Boy, if you are old school, as Shinji does with the SDAT. Then again, we see her with her toy here. Here, Misato is ordering her to go to the aquarium with Kaji and Shinji. This is a very rare pick because this is the first time that we actually see Kaji and Asuka together in Rebuild. Something that was changed from the original story. They don't have that relationship anymore, but this is the first time that we see them together, and we don't see them together a lot. Like, this is the only sequence in the whole Rebuild storyline that we see Kaji and Asuka together, because their relationship here is very different. But I find it curious that they put it this close here in this take. Now, Asuka sitting in this tube, we are gonna come back to that when we get to 3+1. And she has this little toy, right? Again, there's PSP. Every time she's bothered by something, she goes for the PSP. I'm calling it PSP. I don't know really what it is, but I guess that it's one of those video games consoles. Mohammed said, Asuka is the best girl. With a little Ray avatar. Nice avatar, Mohammed. Welcome to the stream. Then Asuka starts to get very hostile towards Ray, right? Because she sees that Ray is threatening her regarding. I mean, my feeling is about Shinji at this point. It's not more about the pilots, right, or being a pilot of an Evangelion unit. Right here is about Shinji. Like Asuka here, she started to get interested in Shinji for some reason, and then she likes the bento box, which is a magical bento box, right? She gets in love with Shinji because of the bento box. And Rei gives a compliment to Shinji, and Rei doesn't want to eat meat, and Asuka is hostile towards Rei because of that. Because Rei doesn't react to her aggressions, she gets even more hostile. Then we have another angel attack, right? Again, Asuka feels that she's being undervalued. She believes that she can defeat Sahakiel by herself, which Misato says that she can't because the thing is they don't know where it's going to fall, right? So it's impossible that she by herself can't stop it. But it's again Asuka feeling that she's being undervalued, right? That she's being threatened. Now Sahakiel is defeated, but they needed to work together to actually defeat it because it is a very powerful angel. Right? It's very big, it's very strong, so they needed to work together to actually destroy it. And this causes Asuka to feel once again undervalued, or she cannot do anything by herself at this point. Now I want to make this very clear. This Asuka is stronger mentally than Neon Genesis Evangelion Asuka. She doesn't go through the depression and everything that Neon Genesis Evangelion Asuka Soyu does or goes. She's very strong mentally and physically. But this is a reference. This part is a reference to the end of Evangelion because there's a scene in the end of Evangelion in which she's underwater in the beginning of the film, right, when the nerve battle is going on, and she's also like this. She's in fetal position, trying to wake up from her comatose state. So episode 12 in Neon Genesis Evangelion only has one true meaning. Okay? Because you get to the question why they choose to put Sahakiel battle in Rebuild. Why this one and no Israfel, the twin angel, right? And the only thing really important, don't get me wrong, this is one of the best battles in all of Evangelion stories. It's very impressive. And you have three Evangelion units working together. So it's very memorable. But what is important about this battle and in Neon Genesis Evangelion is that at the end, Shinji gets praised by his father for the first time. So that's the reason why Sahakiel made it to Rebuild, instead of Israfel or Gagiel or any of the other angels that didn't make it. But that's the only reason. Because all of the rest of things that happen with Sahakiel, you can replace it with another angel and still get that. But Sahakiel was important just to get to that point in which Gendikari congratulates Shinji for the first time, or praises Shinji for the first time. So that's the reason why Sahakiel made it to Rebuild, in my opinion. Let's see. Geoffrey Kayer, welcome to the stream. What happened to the Asken Unit 3? We're going to talk about it when we get there. Jimmy says she's full, full of herself. Abdul Ghani says her ongoing needed to prove herself. It's mentally challenging for anyone. It's a cry for approval. Mohammed says, why height of Shinji and Asuka were different from their classmates in 3+1 when they met? Oh, because they were older. Toji, Kensuke, and Hikari, they were not exposed to the EVA course, so they were able to age normally. Doc says, I remember buying each DVD of the series premiere in 95 at my local video store. Then bought the 2 following movies. That time between that and Anno's Rebirth, we had to say the least. I am pleased with the Rebuild series. Glad to hear, Doc. Gabriel says, that's the best fight scene for me. Naruto runs plus 100 points. That's right? It is a Naruto reference. Doc says Rebirth showed the time between the original, and Rebirth is also shows the maturity of Anno 2. You mean Rebirth from Death and Rebirth, or you mean Rebuild, Doc? Mohammed say, I see, thanks a lot. You're very welcome, Mohammed. I should do a video about the EVA curse because a lot of people ask me that. Okay, so this is the second night that we are shown, and this is when Asuka gets into Shinji's bed, right? Or futon. This is a futon, it's not a bed. And Shinji's surprised. Asuka says, "Don't say anything and don't turn back, don't turn around." And then again, we're shown the Overlord SDAT. This time it shows 25, not 26. And it says 1 hour 9 minutes. In 1 hour 9 minutes into the film, Asuka gets possessed by the angel. So 1 hour 9 minutes she gets possessed. 1 hour and 60 minutes, Unit 1 bites the entry block. Okay? Because they are talking, and we are shown yet again 1 hour and 11 minutes. 1 hour and 11 minutes is when Bardiel gets to Tokyo 3. So this is the first time that Shinji sees Asuka aboard Bardiel. Well, Shinji sees the EVA 3. Sorry, he doesn't see Asuka, but he realized that Asuka is in there, coming to fight him. And this all happens while Shinji and Asuka are talking to each other, right? Asuka said that he can call her Asuka, but she will call him Stupid Shinji or Idiot Shinji, and ask him why he's piloting the EVA. We see again number 25, 1 hour 60 minutes. That's the time where Asuka is or Unit 3 destroyed by Unit 1. But look at this, 1 hour and 60 minutes, episode 25, and then we jump 1 hour 60 minutes, episode 26. Right? This is the end of Evangelion. All of this is the end of Evangelion. Now I checked what happened at this time on the end of Evangelion. And between 1 hour and 9 minutes and 1 hour and 60 minutes on the end of Evangelion, they are in the middle of instrumentality. So it's mostly about Shinji, and there's a transition of Shinji and Rei. There's no Asuka. There's not a lot of Asuka in that transition. So these hours and minutes are just this movie, in my opinion. But the 25 and 26 is definitely the end of Evangelion. Geoffrey says Death Through a Square. Yeah, Death and Rebirth was replaced by Death Through a Square. Rebuild is what I meant, says the. Okay, Rebuild. 1 hour, 9 minutes, and 3 seconds. Yeah, the take takes like 5 or 6 seconds, but that's when all the Bardiel thing happens later on in the movie, right? And the reason why I mention this is because I see a lot of people, like everyone focus on Mari's number 27 and then Kaoru number 28, but these things has happened early into the film. This is before Mari gets into the movie. Well, I mean when Mari meets Shinji for the first time. Right? Then Asuka gets mad because Shinji didn't make her lunch. And Toji says, "You seem like a married couple," and she says, "Oh, they said that they are not married." Then this magical bento box, that is the sole reason why Asuka gets in love with Shinji in Rebuild. And she's complaining because it lost some, according to her, is because he's focusing on Rei, right? That happens in this sequence. Shinji goes towards Rei and talks to her. And then she doesn't want to eat anymore. You can have that, he says to Ikari. But then, because she learns that Rei is trying to cook for Shinji, she's trying to learn cooking as well. And Misato discovers this, right? So at this point, there's a rivalry between Rei and Asuka for Shinji. Then Unit 3 is brought to Japan, and we know that in the original story, Toji is selected to pilot the unit. And there is this take here in which he says, "I didn't win anything," because this time he's not gonna be the pilot. This time it's Asuka. That's another change. Asuka, she's taken, her Evangelion unit is put into custody, right, in containment, because according to the Vatican Treaty that we spoke about that on my last stream, according to the Vatican Treaty, there cannot be more than 3 Evangelion units active in the same country at the same time. And to make a long story short, it's basically because of the 4 atoms. So humanity sees that activating 4 Evangelion units at the same time, it will be risky to, or it could be a risk for them to produce a new impact. And that's the whole reason, right? They cannot be 4 Evangelion units active at the same time because it could risk for a new impact. Of course, that doesn't happen that way. That's just what the treaty says. I don't know if they change it, because it seemed like they really thought it off. Maybe they change it. They change so many things that, I don't know, maybe. The famous bento box, yeah. The famous bento box, Jimmy. The magical bento box. Let's see. Okay, so this is one of the biggest changes in the Rebuild continuity. That is Rei standing up to Asuka. In the original story, this scene happens when Asuka is having problems on synchronizing with Unit 2, right? So as Rei tells her in the elevator that if she doesn't open up her heart to the unit is not gonna work. It's not gonna start off. Of course, Asuka gets angry because of all of the things that she's going through on Neon Genesis Evangelion at that point, and hits or slaps Rei. In Rebuild, it's similar, but Asuka is not having problems synchronizing. Asuka is getting jealous of Rei because of Shinji. And but the lines of Rei are very similar. She says that she has to open up her heart to others or something like that. I don't remember exactly, but it has barely nothing to do to the Evas, from what I remember. I might be wrong. It's similar, but at the same time it's different. So Asuka wants to know why Rei if Rei has feelings towards Shinji. Rei doesn't know. She says that when she's close to Shinji, she feels warm, and that she wants to get him close to his father. Right? Now, if you take a look on their hands, she's all cut because she's trying to cook, and Asuka is also, right? So then Asuka volunteers to pilot Unit 3 because she believes that her only purpose in life is to pilot an Evangelion unit. And she's going to Matsushiro, and Rei calls her to thank her, right? And she smiles. So I said this on my Discord a few weeks back. I feel that the direction this was going regarding Asuka and Rei was forming a relationship, like a friendship. But all of a sudden, the story takes us to Bardiel, right? Asuka is changing to get into the entry block. Again, the doll is here. She's taking the puppet or the doll everywhere around. She's talking to Misato, and she is starting to feel more relaxed, right? Misato tells her that there's going to be a future for her, and she needs to see the world and everything else. And she's feeling happy. And she can smile. So there's a cycle here that is closing, right? She's introduced as someone that she feels like she's undervalued, and her only reason for existing is to pilot an Evangelion unit. And finally, she feels like she can be happy, which is a very similar arc to Rei 2 in Neon Genesis Evangelion, by the way. She's consumed by the angel, and she sees at the bottom, I know it's a little bit hard to see, but there's an eye here, there's another eye here, and if you look closely, there's a mouth here, because this is a silhouette of a face, right, at the bottom of the entry block. Now, I said on my Angels video that it was subject to speculations, but now we can argue that this is her original, right? I mean, it's very clear. Here's one eye, here's another one, here's the mouth, and in very high definition images, you can actually see her hair and everything. It doesn't seem like Asuka, to tell you the truth. The only thing that looks like Asuka on those high definition images is the hair. It's the only thing. But there is this face at the bottom of the entry block. Let's see. Jeffrey says, Rei almost gets slapped by asking the elevator scene. Yeah, in Neon Genesis Evangelion she does, right? That's the difference. Jimmy says the elevator scene is perfect in the context of each loop. Well done, Anno. Jeffrey says Anno is a legend from real. That's so genius. Jimmy says, well, in some aspects, yes, I can agree. Okay, let's move on. Then, of course, this is what happened in 1 minute 16 that we were teased with since the beginning of the movie. Right? 1 minute 16. This is 1 minute 16. 1 minute 16, no, sorry. 1 hour 16 minutes. And then Asuka is retrieved. Right? I know it's hard to see here. this is assisted, how do you say it? Respiration, can you say it like that? So you cannot see her face, but this is her hair, right? This is her hair. And she's inside a containment. They don't know what they are going to do with her, but Ritsuko says that they are not going to kill her because she's a beautiful specimen, or she's an extraordinary specimen, or something like that. Why? Because she got infected by the angel. Because she has an angel inside her now. That's the reason why they decided to keep her and not kill her and replace her. Right? So that's Asuka's story in the second movie. That is basically her movie because it's the only movie that is the movie in which she gets more screen time. Right? Then we know what happens on the second movie. Right? The 10th angel attack. Well, after this, Shinji goes ballistic before this. That doesn't happen in Genesis Evangelion with Toji. Shinji goes ballistic and tries to destroy the Geofront. And they have to put him to sleep because he was going insane. And then the movie goes with the 10th angel, and Rei gets eaten by the 10th angel, and then Shinji tries to save her, initiating the near third impact, and then the movie ends, right, with Kaoru stopping the third impact. Then we have this fabulous manga that the reason why I continue to talk about it is because I read comment after comment from people saying that content creators in YouTube, they don't mention this manga. And I've been mentioning this manga since it was released. I have a copy of this manga. I ordered a copy of this manga from Japan. I have a physical copy in Japanese of this manga. And I have mentioned it in every stream that is relevant. And that's the reason why I'm mentioning it again. So this manga is a prequel to Rebuild Q, to the third movie. And what it's about is the 2 hours before the movie starts. So we know that Rebuild Q started in space with Asuka trying to save Unit 1 or retrieve Unit 1. Right? So here, that this manga was released a month after 3+1 was released. This didn't exist before the Rebuild Q. This is new. Tell us a story about Asuka and Mari, right? Because originally, Mari was going to be the one to actually save Shinji and Unit 1. But then Mari convinced Asuka to do it herself. Now we see how the block suit was different from the one that she used to save Shinji. And the reason is that she changed block suits to the older one so Shinji could remember her, right? Because that's the reasoning behind Mari's argument. And that's the whole manga. That's it. Then we see Asuka in space. They are trying to rescue Shinji. And she believes that Shinji's dead. Okay? Because that's also part of the manga. She believes that Shinji's dead, and the mission, the goal of the mission is only salvage Unit 1. That's the goal of the mission, in her opinion. But then she realized that Shinji is alive. Right? Then again, Asuka is still working with Wily. She gets some interactions with Misato over the phone, so she can activate Wily's engine. Right? Now take a look at these block suits, because these block suits later on they're gonna be very relevant. By the way, these block suits are very relevant later on. the colors and the shape and the pattern. So she goes and meets Shinji, right? She's carrying a grudge because she feels like Shinji didn't do anything to save her or to let her die, right? We are unveiled that on the last movie, but at least after Rebuild Q, you could make an argument, as I did, and I made a video about it last year, in which Asuka felt like Shinji could have saved her as he tried to save Rei, right? Because he almost ended the world saving Rei. But with Asuka, he did nothing, right? And that was confirmed in 3+1 that was her feeling. Then Asuka disappears as Mari, as Misato, as Ritsuko, as Wily, as everything for 70% of the film. This is a Rebuild Q again. And when Shinji is aboard Unit 13 with Kaoru, and they are going to retrieve the spears, Asuka comes back, right, with Mari. And she starts fighting Shinji, and she cannot believe that Shinji is aboard Unit 1, Unit 13, sorry, like piloting another Evangelion unit, because they ask him not to do it. Now, I don't know what they were thinking. And with that, I mean Asuka, Misato, and Wily on that, because Shinji has missed 14 years. So there's a lot of information that they didn't give to Shinji. So Shinji doesn't know all these things, right? Because Gendo Ikari didn't give it any information either. Rei Q, she's a soulless doll. She doesn't have any recollections of her previous Rei. And Kaoru, he speaks in codes, right? So they all behave with Shinji as if Shinji knows everything. Shinji doesn't know anything. Geoffrey says the writing on Shinji fit in the beginning of Q is pretty interesting. You mean the VM02? That has a meaning, as far as I remember. I have to check my notes. Didn't I mention it in one of my videos? I think I mentioned. Yeah, it says like Shinji ? Because they don't know if it's actually Shinji. And the whole argument here is that it seems like Shinji. We don't know if it's Shinji. Right? That Ritsuko says you can call him Shinji Kari. She says that to Misato. Right? Then during this transition of events, Asuka is trying to do everything at the same time. She's trying to fight Unit 13. At the same time, she's trying to fight the 12th Angel. And then she's trying to... she's screaming at Shinji. So she's trying to do a lot of things. And she fails in everything. Then the Mark 9, that's another thing that she tries. Right? Mark 9 tried to take control of the Wonder. And she has to fight Mark 9 in Ivatud, and she turns it into this cat-like or feline-like creature, which is the 666 beast mode of Evangelion Unit 2. Now this is very funny because it looks like a cat, and her hat here has cat ears. So I read somewhere that cats symbolizes destruction. That's why also uh, Mari looks like a cat in anime. So this is all like this. She gets destroyed. Batu gets destroyed trying to save the Wonder. Asuka gets ejected because she needs to auto destroy the unit or self destroy the unit to destroy Mark 9, right? The Aiden vessel. And then she goes to Shinji and she said, you didn't come to help me, right? Now, is she talking about there? Or she was talking about before, right? In Unit 3 instant. Then she leaves, she doesn't help him, and then she comes back and grabs him, you know. And this is how the movie ends. And that's the end of Rebuild Q and her participation in Rebuild Q. And we have to live 9 years with this scene in which they are walking towards the horizon, right? Isogen says it's a cat robot with a gun arm. Jeffrey says, rest in peace, old Eva 2. February says, I still like Asuka Soryu than Asuka Shikinami. Well, they are two different Asukas. I also like Soryu better than Shikinami. And I feel like most Asuka's fans agree with that feeling. Right? I'm going to try to avoid talking about Soryu because one of my videos coming up, I'm going to talk about that. Jeffrey says, New 2 kinda have like a Jet Alone vibe to it because it does. Its spare parts are Jet Alone spare parts. It was reconstructed out of the Jet Alone. This Jet Alone parts because Aeronerve was working on the Jet Alone. Right? So we get to the final movie. Take a look at this. Again, the plug suit. Right? Purple pants. She has the sleeves are white and red. Right? But then 3+1, she's all red. Now they changed this in the new version of Rebuild Q. She doesn't have the purple pants anymore. So it's funny to me because they made all this marketing for 9 years selling Asuka figurines with the purple pants. And now it's not canon anymore. So she her first appearance on 3+1 is with a red plot suit, right, in which the legs are from a darker red than her torso is, while the other two pilots, they remain the same color. Jeffrey says 3.9. 3.33333. And maybe next year we're gonna get like Evangelion 3+1 = 4 edition. So now, Shinji sees Asuka again in the nude. He doesn't feel ashamed anymore. She doesn't feel ashamed anymore, as in the second movie, right? They don't feel like this anymore. Things has changed. Shinji pukes because sees Asuka's the DSS choker, and Asuka is naked. Now she's with a towel here because of community guidelines, right? But Kensuke, that I really not liking that relationship. Kensuke gets, when this Asuka is naked and Shinji's looking at her, Kensuke gets in and he puts a towel on her head. Like, the feeling that gave me is that Asuka is naked all the time in Kensuke's place. So Asuka knows that he got sick, he puked because he saw the DSS choker, right? Because it reminds him of Kaoru and what happened to Kaoru. Asuka's mission right now is to bring Shinji alive to the wild, but she's not gonna force him to do it. So it's in her interest to have Shinji safe, right? There was something else I was going to say about this. I don't know. If I remember later, I'll let you guys know. But there was something else I wanted to say. Then again, Asuka with this little toy 14 years later. We don't see this little toy in Q, but we see it back on 3+1. Again, escapism, right? One of the themes on Evangelion. And now we uncover that she cannot sleep. Right? She cannot sleep because she's infected with the angel. Then Asuka force feed Shinji because she had enough of Shinji behaving like he's behaving. And on my opinion, all this was necessary for Shinji to react. I know it's hard to watch. And I know that Asuka haters always like to hate Asuka for things like this. But it was something that no one was doing. And someone had to do. And Asuka did. Kensuke, Toji, and Reikyu were not going to do this. Only Asuka could do that. Then she follows him around to check out if he's doing well because he runs away. She covers the DSS choker with a scarf. And in this scene, Rei is coming in, right? So on the third movie, she's already calling humans Lilith or Lilims, right? And when Rei comes in, she says the Ayanami series is programmed to like the third boy or the third child, right? And she refers humans to Lilith, and that's what I wanted to say. Asuka stays with Kensuke, and she doesn't stay in town because she is an unknown entity to humankind. That's the DSS choker. Okay? So it was complaining about her no interactions with Hikari not too long ago. And then I realized this. That she cannot have a relationship with any human being. Right? So she stayed with Kensuke away from town because she's not, I'm not going to say she's not welcome in town, but she doesn't feel like part of the town. She's never going to feel human again. Asuka 3+1 is waiting for her death. Okay? So once you see that perspective, it's easier to understand this character. But that's my opinion. Let's see what chat is saying. Also in 33333, they also have it in higher resolution. This is Jeffrey. He says, I look forward to Evangelion 4 plus 2.02. Cool, and welcome to the stream. Ken, correct? Jeffrey says Asuka doesn't care about clothes when she is in the nude. Gabriel says, why change the plug suit though? I would say that it's marketing. Because it has no reason, to tell you the truth. I cannot think of a reason. And if there's a reason, I'm not aware of. Jason Liang says, I think Asuka not feeling ashamed of her nakedness is a reference to Adam and Eve in Genesis before they ate from the tree of knowledge. That's a very interesting take, Jason. Thank you. Jeffrey says, yeah, marketing was misled. She covers her choker because she does that for Shinji. She does that for Shinji. I do believe that she does that for Shinji as well. All right, so she goes, Wiley comes, right, the Wonder. And she's not pressuring Shinji. Shinji is trying to be, Shinji, Ray Q dies, but before that, Shinji's being more relaxed about it. And even, that's why one of the things that I complain about Ray Q dying is because Shinji was starting to move forward without Ray dying. So in my opinion, Shinji could have get there without Ray dying, because they used Ray's death as a way to push Shinji to that point. But they didn't need to do it because he was already moving to that point. So eventually he was going to get there. So everybody in the village is trying to convince Shinji to stay, except for Asuka. Shinji tells to Asuka that he wants to go, and Asuka grants his wish. She stunned him and dragged him to the Wonder. And then we have this reference on Leliel's episode, right, in Neon Genesis Evangelion, that Misato is recovering Shinji from Leliel is the Black Sphere, right? And Asuka is in the same place here. In this case, is Toji's sister who is hugging Shinji. And this is a reference, in that episode, on that occasion, Shinji was returning to Misato. And this is basically the same thing. Shinji's returning to Misato. But it would make no sense that it's Misato crying over Shinji this time around, right, in this point of the story. Maybe later on would have made sense, but right now it doesn't. So it's a clear reference to episode, I believe it's episode 16, the little episodes. Very clever. Then we see that Asuka was promoted because now she's Senior Major Langley, which is Shikinami, which is really funny. Because in the second movie, she is Captain Shikinami. And that's exactly the same rank that Misato had in Neon Genesis Evangelion. And now she's Major, which is the rank that Misato had in the later part of Neon Genesis Evangelion. Now Misato's rank in Rebuild are different, right? She's a Lieutenant Colonel, I believe she is, when she's introduced. So her military ranks have changed. Asuka didn't have a military rank on Neon Genesis Evangelion, which is also very interesting in my opinion, because she had military training. Then we have she complaining about her body, which is something recurrent since Neon Genesis Evangelion. She wants to turn into a woman, right? I already talked about this with Mary, and I talk about this on my review video for 3+1, so I'm not going to talk about it again. And it's the whole thing of Mary being her mother. And then and Mary also put them, they put themselves these white plugs. And Asuka says that they are funerary or something like that, the plug suits. Now originally, these plug suits were going to be black. And we saw that in one of the trailers last year. Mary was wearing a black plug suit. But they turned it white. In medieval Europe, as far as I know, when they were into a funeral, they covered the body with a white cloth. And that's why Asuka mentioned it. But originally, they were going to be black. Um, so Asuka asked um, um, for Mari to go with her to meet Shinji. It's Asuka who does it, not Mari. Okay, that's another thing. Very important thing. Then Mari gets very close to Shinji here, and Shinji explains to Asuka that the reason why she's mad with him is because he didn't save her or didn't kill her. Right? So Asuka says that he has grown up a bit. Now, again, the plug suit, right? How many plug suits Asuka had since the beginning of her first introduction? He had one, the red one, right? It's the first one, the traditional red. Has some differences. We're going to talk about it later. And then Asuka has the orange and red. Also marketing, a very popular figurine. She only used that there. Then we have the another popular figurine, the Rack block suit, right? We have in the manga, she had another block suit. Then the white sleeves block suit, there was a Retcon with blue pants. Another figurine. And then the red block suit, the darker red pants. That I have this figurine. Right? And we can see here better how different it is, right? It has this light celestial blue, I would say it is. Light blue here that I really don't understand why. But it is what it is. Let's see. What chat is saying. Oh, let's see. I think I read that. Christopher say, I used to not like Asuka, but after researching the characters, I can understand why she acts the way she does. She's a very complex character. The thing is, in Rebuild, they didn't develop her enough. Now, if you watch Neon Genesis Evangelion and try to understand Soryu, it's easier. So it's funny because they try to develop Asuka Shikinami using Soryu, but at the same time they were retconning Soryu, so it is a mess. Jeffrey says Sakura is so youthful. Jimmy says it's a battlefield emotion. It's a battlefield promotion. Temp special mayor. Temporary special mayor, yeah. You can say it's a battlefield promotion, but the thing is that the reason why they put it there is because they wanted to make a reference to that. Why not captain? Why mayor now? Right? Jeffrey says, I like the hair cutting scene for 3+1 with Asuka and Mari. Con says, this is where my ship sank. Sorry to hear that. Jeffrey says, grown up Shinji and Asuka is interesting. We're gonna get there. Gabriel Kua says, that part is the best. Asuka shooting Shinji. Jimmy says, yeah, right, when she drags him to the Wonder. Jimmy says, in the face. Nice touch, Asuka. She doesn't care. Right? So then they fight, Mari and Asuka fight for what, 5 minutes, 6 minutes. The Mark 7s. There's a lot of mixed feelings about it because many people believe that Mecha battle wasn't a battle at all. It was just EVA 2 and EVA 8 shooting, spinning around. And I kind of agree with that. I think those 5 or 6, 7 minutes, they could have been better spent in character development. Right? It wasn't even impactful. For me, that scene is very forgettable. Then Asuka gets to Unit 13 tries to destroy the unit, but her own Evangelion Unit 2 AT field prevents her to do it. So she removes the Angel's hex seal, right, which is this thing, from her eye to allow the angel to reborn, and allow Unit 2 mixed with the angel reborn, Bardiel, to try and kill Unit 13, which was actually the plan from Gendo Ikari. Right? Because it needed an angel or an angel force like that, as in the previous movie. Okay? The reason why Eva 13 awakes is because the 12th angel. Right? And also, he needed a second soul that we're gonna see to pilot the unit. There's one soul in the unit, and that's Kaoru. We see Kaoru in the background. And he needed a second soul, and the second soul is Asuka. Now, the second soul was going to... The two souls were going to be Asuka and Rei. That's why they had two series, the Shikinami series and the Yanami series. But Rei's soul was in Unit 1. That's another reason why Kaoru needed to die within Unit 13. And they needed Asuka's soul to actually make Unit 13 to work the way they wanted. Right? So her original saved her the soul. Now, what is a soul in Rebuild? In Neon Genesis Evangelion, Rei Yanami is the only reference that we have, because we don't know who the human donor is or was for Kaoru. But for Rei Yanami, they needed a human donor and what they call a soul, right? So for Rei, the soul was Lilith. And the human donor was Yui. For Kaoru, we know that the human donor, we don't know who the human donor was, but we know that the soul is from Adam. That's Neon Genesis Evangelion. Then here, souls have changed, and I made a video about it last year. They are not as important as they were in Neon Genesis Evangelion. But basically, Asuka's original, whoever that might be, in my opinion, she died within Unit 2 long time ago. And that's the reason why this Asuka, that is the Asuka that we got for the story, was able to synchronize with the unit. Now, Asuka's original soul, who remained within the unit, saved Asuka and pulled her into Unit 13. Now, Unit 13 has two souls. As Kaoru said on Rebuild Q, they needed two souls to pilot the unit. Now it has it, Kaoru and Asuka. Sphinx says, how would you have written Asuka in the rebuilds? I think that's a very good question. I think that I wouldn't have put her on Unit 3. I think that was a mistake. I like Shikinami Asuka until she went into Unit 3. I think that was a mistake. But that's my opinion. Now, if you don't put Asuka Shikinami into Unit 3, you can do whatever you want with her. Right? But the whole background that they gave it to her is very different. With she being a clone, is it changes everything, in my opinion. But if she didn't went into Unit 3, probably would have explored her relationship with Rey, that it was going very good. You think about it. Because after the elevator scene, they start to talk to each other, right, over the phone. Rey actually invited Asuka to her dinner party with Gendo. So I would have explored that. And if you have been watching what is going on with Shikinhelion or whatever the name of that show is, they always put Asuka and Rey together when they appear in a cameo. Shikinhelion, something like that. It's called the Show of the Cranes, right? So the reason why they put it together is probably because someone in Kara recommended it. Why not marry and Asuka? So probably we'll have explored that, if you ask me. Geoffrey says Evangelion Unit 11. Hard. Mark 11. Gabriel says Bandai Spirit Asuka figurine is a must buy. You mean the white block suit one? It's I think they releasing it. What day? Let me check. The 30th of this month. I pre-ordered it. I should be getting it by mid-October, I guess. I'm talking about the price figurine, not the expensive one. I don't have money for that. Jimmy says Kaoru, Asuka, and Asuka is 3 souls. Kaoru, Asuka, and Asuka. No. Asuka's original soul brought it. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. You can say that. But this Asuka, she was going to die here. So it was not 3 souls, it was only 2. Original Asuka saved her. Now that was part of Gendo's? I don't know. Because in my opinion, Gendo, what he wanted is original. Or the soul, right? The soul. That's it. There's one soul. There's no multiple souls. Wait, if 2 souls are required to move Unit 13, then how did it move when only Kaoru's soul was inside? Ahsoka is still in Unit 2 while Unit 13 moved. Well, I don't know the exact things how that worked, but it moved. And we know they needed 2 souls to move because Kaoru said it previously in Rebuild Q. That's the whole reason why Kaoru and Shinji needed to pilot Unit 13. Now, how Unit 13 actually moved just to get that entry plug, I really don't know. A red herring, perhaps? I don't know. I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce your name. Asuka is best girl, that's all that mattered to me. I'll be watching this video when the live stream is over. Be enjoying your content since I got around to seeing 3+1 last week. I'm really glad that you have. Pretty much to come. Thank you very much. So, Blade, I don't know the answer to that. Unless Shikinami Asuka doesn't have a soul. And we know that that is possible because Rei Q didn't have a soul. Soryu is the superior Asuka too. I agree with that. Ace Gundam Boy says they did my homegirl Asuka dirty. I think that she was mistreated overall. Yeah. Right. Well, after that, we see memories from Asuka, and all these memories are around when she was watching Shinji, or it reminds her of Shinji, right? This is from the second movie. Look at the plug suit. It's not white anymore. Okay. Then we have Shinji's room. She moving in the second movie. The plug suit. Different. She looking at Shinji. Another memory. It's all about Shinji, this transition of events. It's about her and Shinji. And here it says SS Asuka. Okay. Now, what does the second S mean? I mean, I think that the common sense meaning is Soryu Shikinami Asuka, but there's no official source that confirms that. Okay, but Asuka did see the Ikaris in Europe, according to this. Now, these dreams or these memories that she has are altered, right? They are not 100% accurate because we see things that are not accurate. This is not accurate. This is not accurate, right? It's similar, but it's not accurate. Do you love Jeffrey says, do you love the live stream? Yes, as soon as I finish the live streams, they become available. You can rewatch it later if you want. Jason Lear says, I just watched End of Evangelion a few days ago, and while I like the loop theory, like a double-sided castle tape, it seems there needs to be a better bridge between End of Evangelion and Rebuild for the loop to make sense. But there are people in the fandom that they say that the story didn't improve the loop, right? That if there's a loop, it's within the Rebuild continuity, that it doesn't connect Neon Genesis Evangelion to Rebuild of Evangelion. So that's another theory. If that's the case, in my opinion, it makes more sense. Right? And I would like to think that. But then Rei and Shinji are talking about Neon Genesis, and they are putting in the background images from Neon Genesis Evangelion. So for me, that's like the definite proof that the loop connects both stories. For more that I want to think that the loop is only in the Rebuild continuity, because it will make more sense. Jeffrey says, because this is very educational. Thank you, Jeffrey. I'm glad you are enjoying the stream. Taboo says, yeah, he did a 2+ hour long stream on Mary. Yeah, that was 3 weeks ago. I'm gonna try to make these streams more, at least one stream a week. I'm gonna try to do that. By mid-October, I will say something about it. Jeffrey says, 2 hours stream on Mary. I did a 2 hours plus stream on Mary and a 2 hours and 40 minutes discussion on spoilers for 3+1. Also, you can watch it. They are all on my channel. Jason Leon says, concept of fidelity from Westworld. They says, I tend to think Rei Q did develop her own soul after spending time in the village. When she disappeared, her little cross shined. I tend to think the cross is the soul, but who knows? Yeah, but again, we return to Kaoru. Kaoru says that her soul is in another place. Kaoru said that, or Bill Q. So I see what you're saying, and these crosses appears with all of the angels, except for Kaoru, which is ridiculous, but it's true. All of the angels, when they die, they have a cross, but Kaoru. And Rei, for some reason, had it because she had Lilith's soul, maybe. I don't know. Lilith is dead, but maybe she got Lilith's soul somehow, Right? She was there when Lilith exploded. But I guess that what Kaoru was trying to say is that Rei from the second movie, Soul, is in Unit 1. That's what I think Kaoru was trying to say. Right? So, we get to the beach scene. Right? She gets her 28 years old body that she wanted. And when people say that this is like the end of Evangelion, I'm starting to believe that they are mistaken, because this is the end of Evangelion. How do I say this? Why do I say this? Because the plug suit is Neon Genesis Evangelion plug suit. Look. Look at these black thingies. None of the other plug suits are similar to that one. That is Neon Genesis Evangelion. Look, the red plug suit, the first one that she uses, that is the most similar, has blue. Right? And then it's not this one. This one has these black things like going down in this direction. Then it's not this one either. Right? We can see it here. It has the long black lines, and she has the black sleeves. And it's not a white plug suit. Well, it seems like a little bit. Right? So this red plug suit is is End of Evangelion plug suit. Right? So it doesn't seem like the End of Evangelion. It is the End of Evangelion, if that makes sense. How did Asuka appear on the beach? That's another question. How she get there? We know that she was took by her original, right? But then Shinji got into Unit 13, and when he sends Gendo off, he goes and tries to find Asuka within Unit 13. How they imagine this speech, I have no idea, because of course we can appeal to the loop and the anti-universe and all that jazz, but that's like the only thing that we can appeal on. There's no reasoning on why they are in this beach. Right? So that I have no idea how they appear or they envision this beach other than this is the End of Evangelion. AC Gundam Boy says, do you feel that making her a clone was a necessary way to complete the story? I think it was a convenient way. I don't think it was necessary. I believe it was a mistake, to tell you the truth. That's what I believe. Gabriel Kua says, wow. Tony says, wow, mama. Jeffrey Casey says, so that means that 3+1, 0.01, Asuka on the beach is Shikinami, but in the original plug suit? That's what I'm trying to understand here. Shikinami Asuka never wears this plug suit. Only Soryu Asuka wears this plug suit. This plug suit doesn't exist on the Rebuild continuity. That's what I'm trying to say. Jimmy says, not quite the end, maritime. Jason Diaz says, we also the moon in reveal. Also moon in the reveal with a red grid. We see it informing the end of Evangelion. That's true. The black moon, right? They are collecting all the souls. So there's a connection, undeniably. And at this point, I do believe that the loop connects both stories. But there are arguments, I'm just saying that, there are arguments which people are starting to get a little bit accepting on that, right? They believe it's only in the reveal continuity, in the reveal stories that there's the loop. Now, in my opinion, it would make more sense if that's the case. Blade says it's because Shinji remembered the loops when talking to Kaoru. And as closure, the beach scene was to continue off End of Evangelion. Also fan service. Yeah. I mean, you can say that. That's the argument, right? He remembered the beach. He remembered the beach because this is the end of Evangelion. It's not like the end of Evangelion. It's the end of Evangelion. Right? Of course, he's the definite proof of that. The plug suit from the end of Evangelion. Then Asuka wakes on the plug suit, on the entry plug. For some reason, without a plug suit, for some reason, wearing Kensuke's jacket. For some reason. By the way, do they wear underwear beneath the plug suits? I don't think that they wear underwear beneath the plug suits. So for some reason with underwear, aboard Unit 13 entry plug, and she's gonna be ejected, right, to Kensuke. Without saying her mind to Shinji. So Shinji said, you go to Kensuke. Don't let me know anything. Don't talk to me. Did she wanted that? Now there's another. I mean, all these theories, man, they're gonna drive me crazy. There's another theory that I read recently that they say that Asuka actually wasn't inside the entry plug, and she remained on the anti-universe because once the entry plug reaches Kensuke's place, it was empty. So actually, Asuka is in the anti-universe, and she remained in the anti-universe. Man, I'm telling you. I mean, Rebuild is over, and still all these theories are starting to come out. And I don't know the answer to that. Maybe she was not in the entry plug. We never see her later, right? We can argue that she is inside Kensuke's place, and that's the reason why we don't see her. Now, is she in the anti-universe? If she, this same Asuka here, because this is the train station, the ending, right? We have Kaoru, Rei, or people that look like Kaoru, Rei, and Asuka. That's the last time we see someone like Asuka in the story. Kwon says, personally, I believe after 2, the impact happened the same way it did in End of Evangelion, except for Kaoru stopping it. So Asuka got eaten by mass-produced Evas, the eye patch, and that's a similarity. You're right, Kwon. And the beach feels like a metaphor. When I finish my End of Evangelion series, that I'm gonna get back to it very, very shortly, by the way. So all of you that are waiting for episode 5 of that, I'm working on it. All right? We're gonna talk about the beach scene more. Blade Phoenix says, generally not but censorship. Right? They had to put something there. Jeffrey Kaiser says, to be fair, the beach scene 3+1, Shinji is pretty wholesome. Pretty wholesome. There, and Shinji is smiling to Asuka all the time. Yeah. Like, I like you, Asuka. Go back to Ketsuke. So weird. Blade says, also it seems that male sentry plug Sid has the waist over. Yeah, that's a very, very, very good observation. EVA 1 entry plug is different from EVA 0 and EVA 2. Right? EVA 1, this part goes all the way to the waist. I don't know if I have one for EVA 2 here. EVA 2 and EVA 0, see, you can see here, it goes all the way to the knees only. It doesn't hide the waist. Only Unit 1 does that. But that's a very good observation. Very, very good observation. Now I don't have a picture, sadly. But you're correct. You are absolutely correct with that. Unit 1 goes all the way to the waist. Unit 0 and Unit 2, they go even lower than this. I think the knees. Gabriel Kua says, just when you thought you have solved everything. Jason Leon say, I also noticed that you see Asuka at the train station in a shot a few seconds earlier when Shinji is first in the train station. Interesting. I have to take a close look to that. Thank you, Jason. Jeffrey says, 9 the train station, do you think Rei and Kaoru remembers each other or not, and just meet or talking to one another or to each other? How do we know that? Right? I mean, it seems that they know each other, right? But two albinos talking to each other in a train station is not rare, right? Because I don't know, man. I've seen some crazy fan art lately. And Asuka by herself. Huh? So that's it. That's Asuka's story in Rebuild of Evangelion. Ara. Doug Dennis, thank you very much for the sub. Let's see. Okay, so I've been saying across the stream that my opinion on how Asuka, Shikinami Asuka is, or she was portrayed, is that overall I didn't like it. There's some things on the second movie that I liked. Like the Rei thing, this is really good. This is really, really good. Everything that has to be with that has to do with Rei, all these sequences, that's the direction that I would have taken this story. Not this. This was a mistake, in my opinion, regarding Asuka. The whole relationship with Shinji, I think it would have been better if they would have included an angel like this Raphael, do something like episode 9. I think if you're gonna copy something, copy that. instead of doing the Clock Angel thing. All this thing is really good. The SDAT thing is very Anno-esque, right? Now, I'm not saying that you have to copy and paste Neon Genesis Evangelion to make this relationship to work. But if you are out of ideas and you're already copying other things, why not going more in line with that? Would I have made Asuka and Shinji ended up together? I think that's before 3+1. I think that's the general feeling that the fandom wanted. Now after that, I have a different feeling. I think I'm not gonna say the majority, but most people are happy with Shinji and Mary ending. Most people, not the majority, but the biggest group. At this point, today, I can say that. But before 3+1, I think that the general consensus of the majority of people wanted an Asuka Shinji ending. But we already had that on the end of Evangelion. I don't know if I have... the clone thing, for me, is an aberration. I would have scrapped all of that. It's terrible. I don't know who came out with that. Probably Tsuramaki. He's the director. He's the one that he was in charge of Asuka, because Anno didn't want to do anything with Asuka. Let's see. Whoa. I lost my chat. Let's see. Manny Slapo said, please talk about Shinji lack of reaction to Unit 2's head. Unit 2's head? What do you mean with Unit 2's head? Manny? Shinji's reaction to Unit 2's head. I'm not sure what you're talking about, Manny. Jeffrey says, thank you for the live stream. You're very welcome, Jeffrey. Thank you for sticking around. Juan Carlos Diaz says, I saw one of the last videos in which you said that the 5 Adams were the marks. But then who is Mark 6? Mark 6 is, it was theorized that Mark 6 was one of the Adams. That was a theory. But it's actually, from what I understand, it was Cele's Evangelion unit. It was made in the moon, specifically for Kaoru. Okay, so I don't know if that theory in which says that Mark 6 was one of the Adams is still true, because Mark 6, remember, there are 14 years time frame here that we are missing. And Unit 13 doesn't appear until Reveal Q. Okay? So Mark 6 appears on the second movie. And then we know that in the third movie, he is impaled together with Lilith. And we don't know anything that happened at that point, all the way until 3+1, that we see how Mark 6 beheaded Lilith. Right? So maybe Mark 6 until that point was one of the Adams, maybe, but we don't know what happened on those 14 years, and when we get to Reveal Q, Mark 6 doesn't exist anymore. He's possessed by an angel. Right? So all these things can change once they decide to tell us on what happened on those 14 years. Mark 9, Mark 10, Mark 11, Mark 12 didn't exist on those 14 years that we know of. And if one of them existed, was Mark 9. Because it's the first one that we see, right? With Ray Q. Doc says, no problem, you make interesting chats. I'll have to check what you have to say about Ray. I should do something about Ray, right? Ray I think Ray is one of the few characters that did better in Rebuild that did on Neon Genesis Evangelion. And I like Ray too, a lot. but there were scenes or raised to a story on Neon Genesis Evangelion is reduced to 3 or 4 episodes, because the rest of the episodes she's a background character, if you ask me, right? In my opinion, Rei in the first and second movie is a better version of Rei. I'm not gonna say that the Rei 2 in Neon Genesis Evangelion is worse, because she's not. They are different Reis, different portrayals of Reis. And but the Rei that I like the most is Rei in the first and second movie of Rebuild. I think that's the strongest Rei. Now, there's 3 characters that I can think right now that they did better in Rebuild than they did in Neon Genesis Evangelion. Rei is one of them. The other one is Gendo Ikari. I think he was portrayed better in Rebuild. Right? Blade Phoenix says they might remember each other, but who knows? However, in the new world, Kaoru works with Kaji and watermelons, and Rei with rice. With rice fields. 2 farmers got to know each other. That's what I thought. Yeah, they're in the farming business, and that's how they know each other. A rice producer and a watermelon producer. That's a weird mix. Watermelons and rice. Jeffrey says, man, they did Asuka dirty, but they at least she got the body that she wanted. Right? She got a great butt. She cannot complain about that. I'm not gonna body shame anyone, but this is a hot body, man. Shinji was very, very grateful with Asuka. Let's see. Like, this is the body that Shinji wanted. For Asuka. Alright, let's see who else. Manny Slapper says, I believe Mark 6 was the physical body of Adam, Kaoru, and he was just the soul. Yeah, you can theorize that. I theorized that for many years. I believe that the 4 Adams, I made a video about it, where last year, where Unit 1, that was disproven because Mark 9, Mark 10, Mark 11, and Mark 12, as Evangelion Unit 13, they don't have an AT field, while Unit 1 does have an AT field. Right? So I believe that was Unit 1, there was Mark 6, there was the Key of Nebuchadnezzar, and it was Unit 13. And in my opinion, until last year, until 3+1, those were the 4 Adams. Now, the only one that was proven to be an Adam was Unit 13. But not one of the 4, but the 5th one, right? I didn't know there was 5. We all thought there was only 4. Gabriel Kua says, the part where they cancel Rei launch with Gendo and Shinji destroy me. And that scene, well, when we talk about Rei, we're going to go over those scenes. This is an Asuka stream, not a Rei stream. Jimmy says, yes, we are. Mary's the best. Doc says, and what is the link between Mary and Mary Iscariot? It's because it's Maria of Iscariot. That's what the script says. Maria of Iscariot, right? So Maria of Iscariot is because Mary in college, she was in a rock band named Iscariot. Someone told me that. I was like, what? What are you talking about? Oh God. It seems like regarding regarding Maria Iscariot is that people say. I mean, what seems to mean if the her real name is Maria of Iscariote, right? That was her real name. That's why it felt right. But people argue, and I'm in that department, subscribe to this theory, is that uh, um, Koso was somehow insulting her, right? They used saying, "You are the traitor." And then Mario replies, "There's a long time that no one calls me that because she already betrayed someone before." I believe that's the case. But the common belief is that her real name is Maria Iscariot because she was hiding her true identity. Right? Manny says, when Unit 2 head was on the Wonder near the end after Gendo abducts her. Oh! Shinji's reaction? Please talk about Shinji's lack of reaction. Shinji has a lot of lack of reaction across the show, to tell you the truth, after that. Because when Rey exploded, he was impacted, but after that he was like, okay, let's go, let's roll. He overcame that really fast. So, yeah, he didn't react, right? He was like this. He was reacting as someone that knew what was going to happen. And at that point, he wasn't talking to Mari yet, because Mari tells him when they are traveling through the anti-universe that Asuka she might be alive. Asuka's soul might be alive, right? So not even Mari knows if Asuka is still alive. And Mari says to Shinji, she might be there. Please save her. So how come Shinji knows and he was so sure that Asuka was okay? I have no idea. Jeffrey says, Gendo is pretty gangster in this movie. Gendo is always doing whatever he wants, right? The only one that defeats Gendo is Shinji in this movie. Because everything goes according to plan. If you play Red Dead Redemption 2, right? What's the name of Dutch Vanderling? I got a plan, John. That's Gendo. He always has a plan, but this time, different in contrast to to our friend Dodge. Actually, his plans work. And he's always like 2 or 3 steps ahead, and everything goes according to his plan. It's really funny. Gabriel says, 1-2 reveal is the best Rey. I agree with that. Jimmy says, good night, Eva friends everywhere. I just go finish after posted. Thanks for hosting. Makes sense. Thank you for being around, Jimmy. Talk to you in the Discord. Jeffrey says, great. All right. Good night, Jimmy. Juan Carlos Diaz says, do you think that the Golgotha object is the Eva 1 of the original series? I mean, it's told by Gendo that she was there before Gendo and Shinji, and that is she sent the atoms to the Earth. It does looks like it. It does look like that, Juan. It does look like it. Who told me something about space? Someone told me. Someone in the Discord told me about. Someone just come from space, and then I said, Yui ended up in space in the end of Evangelion. So if it's a loop, and the loop doesn't repeat in the moon, that's why Kaoru is in the moon. Then it's possible that Eva 1 is still floating around on space by the events of 3+1. Um, Christopher said, I think Asuka should have ended up with Mary. Personally, do not think Shinji could handle either of them. I think Mary actually has a leash for Shinji. That's another thing. What exactly does Mary likes about Shinji? Or what Asuka likes about Shinji? If we talk about that, right? Like in the real world, I don't think that either of those personalities will go hand to hand together. Um, Short leash. Juan Carlos says, love the channel. By the way, I discovered your channel recently. I'm loving it. Oh, well, thank you very much, Juan Carlos. There's going to be more content to come. In October, there's going to be regular live streams. And just some of you might know, I was moving for the past few weeks. I've been very busy with that. I'm working on an improvised setup right now. I'm waiting for my desk. It should be here over the weekend. And I might do a short live stream explaining to you guys what is coming to the channel for fall. I'm returning to my last year's schedule. Some of you might notice that I've been doing some reviews because the summer season just is ending in anime. And I do enjoy anime, and I have like 6 review videos right now. So if you're into anime, you might want to check them out. I still have 3 or 4 to go, and then I will close that because I don't want to go all the way until fall still reviewing summer anime. And there are very good animes coming in winter. There's gonna be live streaming, and we're gonna tell you all about it. Of course, there's always gonna be Evangelion on my channel. It's a big part of the channel. So there's a lot to come. I still have to finish my End of Evangelion series. I have to finish my Misato Over Explained series. I have to start. I'm barely starting my Rebuild series. Kwon says, it's funny how in Shinji's instrumentality from Neon Genesis Evangelion, he asks himself, have you tried to understand your father? And he says, I did, but only really did it in this movie. And it was the key to stop everything. He's the therapist, right? He's the therapist now. Ano said that Shinji's relationship with Gendo, it was pretty similar to his relationship with his father. That is something that never interested me. I think there are other themes on Neon Genesis Evangelion that are more interesting than that. But it exists. Jeffrey says, what do you think about EVA 9, 10, and 11? Those are the Mark 9 and Mark 10 and Mark 11. Those are the EVA, the Adam's vessel. I made a video about that. You can watch it. Because there are 9, 10, 11, and 12. There are the 4 horsemen of Apocalypse, as Gendo says in 3+1. They have the colors of the 4 horsemen. They are the Adam vessel, and they are the master of the 4 ships, right? The Wonder being one of them. That's why Mark 9 is always after the Wonder. And they needed the vessels to recreate. That's something that I should have been more clear on that video, on my Adams video, because it seems that I'm saying that the Adams are alive and they are the ships. They are not the ships. The Adams, as they appear on the second movie, they are dead. They don't exist. That's the reason why they are crosses there on the South Pole. What Gendo Iskari is trying to do is recreate another impact. All right. So the Adams vessels and all these ships, they are recreating the Adams. They are not the Adams. They might have the Adam souls, but they are not the Adams. Right? I might have said that on my Adams video because I see that there's a confusion that it wasn't clear enough. Now, if you are here in this stream and you're hearing from me that, so you consider yourself lucky. Because the additional impact is a recreation. It's all about recreating. Right? Jeffrey says, wasn't it the great the last words in the series was thank you all, and in the end of Evangelion is disgusting, and in 3+1 is yeah, let's go. They're three different endings, right? Although you can say that the original 25 and 26 were parallel, right, to the end of Evangelion. What I believe is that they are three different endings. And if you've been in the channel for a while, you know that in my opinion, episodes 25 and 26, I always consider them to be like standalone episodes because they don't connect directly to episode 24. Right? Episode 24 ends with Shinji and Misato on the lake, where Unit 0 exploded after Shinji killed Kaoru, and then episode 25 starts directly into instrumentality. So there's no direct connection, like the end of Evangelion. So I always seen episode 25 and 26 as a standalone episodes. How instrumentality works. From the inside, I made a video about that, you can check it out. It's called Instrumentality from Within. It's an analysis on episode 25 and 26. I do like episode 26 better than episode 25, although the general consensus is that episode 25 is better. I always been fighting that episode 26 is better. I like the episode 26 better. People like the episode 25 better is because Kaoru appears on episode 25, and Misato and Asuka are going through instrumentality on episode 25, while episode 26 is it's basically Shinji alone. They're going through instrumentality. Right? Kaoru doesn't appear in the final scene of episode 26. All of the characters appear except for Kaoru. Dayfin says a Japanese fan on YouTube said he figured out who the Adams are. The 9 Eva series from End of Evangelion. 5 of them from Second Impact, including Evan 13. 4 remaining Adams are the 4 ships. Makes sense to me. How many Adams? 9? That's a lot of Adams. I don't think that is that complex. Sometimes people just, they go into these complex theories, and at the end of the day, like I made a video about how the fandoms felt about the original designs on Neon Genesis Evangelion Eva's unit. And back then there was theories that each of the Evangelion units was designed after one of the horses or the horsemen of Apocalypse, right? And on the video I explained that it's incorrect. That actually Anno based the design on a Japanese demon. So it wasn't that complex. And that was a theory that lasted for years. Usually those theories are not that complex. The real thing. Jeffrey says, but Pen Pen does appear in episode 26, and that's so cute. He's the hero of the story, the killer of Kaji. Alright, so I think this is a good spot to end the stream. I think we went over everything that I want to go over, Asuka. There are a few things that I'm reserving for a video. There's not gonna be an Evangelion video this weekend. This is a replacement. So if you want to watch it again, this 2 hours of Asuka. You can watch my other 2 hours and a half on Mary. And that's it. Alright. So guys, like the video if you haven't, the stream. You can check the video later. As soon as I finish, it's gonna start processing as a video. So probably within an hour it's gonna be available. And subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I should be close to 2,000 subs at this point. It's telling me 1999. I'm one sub short to get to 2,000 subs. All right, so thank you very much, everyone, and stay tuned. I will let you know if you haven't joined the Discord. The link is in the description section. Join for free, and I'll see you all around. All right, thank you for sticking out. Have a great weekend. All right, bye, guys.